Mr. President, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is.
Well, he's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President.
I think this is the beginning of the end. The capture of Nicolas Maduro is a very important hit against the Los Soles cartel. And now what the U.S. needs to ensure is that there is a smooth, precise, and contundent transition to democracy, to institutional stability, and to the rule of law. That's what needs to happen next. And that obviously involves the participation of the democratic resistance in Venezuela led by Maria Corina Machado, but it also involves the military forces of Venezuela that need to put themselves in the right side of history, as I'm sure they did last night. I am optimistic that with the fall of Maduro and coherent reconstruction plan of Venezuela, Colombia can be part of the solution in the provision of goods and services, in trade, in security, but also having a transition for a friendly government in Venezuela that is committed to fighting terrorism. I think we will be able to destroy the structures of FARC and ELN in a faster pace than ever. So I am pretty optimistic of what this can bring to Colombia. And obviously there can be risks in terms of maybe massive migration or additional massive migration. But I think it can also be in the other way around. It can also be massive Venezuelan migration back to their countries. And in each one of those, we need Colombia to have a much better response capacity. In the meantime, Petro, the president of Colombia, who has been a sponsor and a partner of Nicolas Maduro, I think now his days in office are about to end in a few months from now. And basically, the Colombian institutions beyond Petro, the Congress, the courts, the military forces, media, the aggregations, every other institution in Colombia is pretty much aligned with the return of democracy in Venezuela. This is a real liberation of Venezuela from one of the most brutal tyrants of today's time. So there's no aggression at all. This is a legitimate, moral, humanitarian operation, as legitimate as the operation against Osama bin Laden, as legitimate as the operation against Slobodan Milosevic. This is an operation against someone who represents or represented a major threat to the hemispheric security. Well, I think the Delcy Rodriguez, Jose Rodriguez, Tarek, and all the guys like Diosdado Cabello and so on, they're all cronies of Cartel de los Soles. So they better not try to forecast that they're going to remain in office, because there was a legitimate election of Edmundo González and Maria Corina Machado 2 years ago. They are the ones that have the popular support. So I think the transition needs to lead to let the Venezuelan people see the people they elected running the country. So I think that's what should happen in the next months. The best legacy that the U.S. government can leave in the Americas, especially this 2026, when the U.S. is going to be celebrating 250 years of existence, is to have a region free of dictators. We need to have a region free of dictators as a way to fulfill, to comply and implement the democratic charter of the Americas. And I think we all should be aligning to that purpose. Well, maybe what I'll say in addition to that is that we have a democratic charter where most of the countries in this hemisphere, we all have said that we do not accept dictatorships in the Western Hemisphere. That charter was signed in September 11, 2001. And we have to enforce that charter. What happened yesterday or this morning in Venezuela is a way to enforce that charter, but also we expect to see an opportunity for democracy in Cuba. And we expect also a dictator like Ortega to fall and allow the Nicaraguan people to exercise liberty, true liberty. So I think if we're able to understand that in order to make America great, we need to make the Americas great by the light of democracy, this is the road that we should all continue to navigate.